Hi friends, welcome to the Wild Side. I'm Steve Hall. Tennessee history is all wrapped up in war. In our Wild Side adventures, we've taken you to a British fort and to Civil War battlegrounds. But one of Tennessee's most famous heroes went all the way to France to fight for our country in World War I. He was a true outdoorsman who lived in this valley and hunted these hills near the Kentucky line. Here at the state park that's named for him, Sergeant Alvin C York is honored, and the history of World War I is remembered. Soldiers with smartphones give it away. This is not really the World War I era, but park rangers and volunteers presenting a living picture of the past and having a good time in the process.
I started doing this when I was in college. I'd always been interested in military history. It's fun. It's getting a little closer to what I teach, getting a little closer to what I study. Sometimes, just wearing the wool, carrying the gear. Back when I could run around, running around.
There's about to be a battle with a lot of running around. But first comes the formality of honoring veterans of all U.S. military conflicts.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
The ceremony is taking place at the homestead of Sergeant Alvin C York, recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor for his heroics in World War I. York's property in Pall Mall, Tennessee is now a state park. His children are here to participate in the day's events, and his great-granddaughter is at the podium, partly to rekindle appreciation for those who fought in the First World War.
This is a whole generation of lost souls.
This is really our duty to speak their names, to tell their stories, and to really keep alive the memories of all of those souls that sacrificed so much, and a lot of them lost their lives during World War I. What we don't realize is every fabric of the world today was created and was molded by the World War I experience.
Deborah York told her audience, it's the responsibility for those of us living in this bridge time to preserve the names, the stories, and the sacrifices of World War I soldiers for the next generations. Her own great-grandfather's story became well known greatly because it was told in a 1941 Oscar-nominated movie, Sergeant York, starring Gary Cooper. As the movie dramatically describes, and the family well knows, Alvin York had gone from hellraiser to devout Christian, and because of his belief that killing is a sin, he did not want to go to war.
He was wrestling about going to the Army and about killing people and all that, and so he took his Bible and his gun and went up at the yellow doors up on the mountain.
To my left is the place where he went and prayed, got the assurance that the Lord would protect him.
He stayed up there 2 days and nights, but when he come back, he told his mother that she wouldn't have to worry about him, he'd be coming back. So, he got assurance up there, that everything's gonna be all right.
He stood by that all the way through the service.
York was a sharpshooter who turkey hunted and dominated local target competitions. Once he reconciled his Christian faith with America's call to arms, those renowned rifle skills would serve him well. He was one of 17 men trapped behind enemy lines in France by fierce machine gun fire. But he led a clever counterattack, allowing him and surviving comrades to capture 132 German soldiers in a shocking surrender.
He went out the side, he said they were spitting bullets all around me, but he managed to get hold of when they stick their head up, he'd touch them off. And they found 25 that he had killed. And when he got a hold of the major, he put a gun to him and made him blow a horn, and the rest of them gave up. He had 90 when he came over the hill.
It's a scene that unfolds in the film with an intensity and style that can stir patriotic emotions. As his children can tell you, York remained on the movie set throughout production and approved every word in the script.
We've had some said it's not very true. I said, If you said it's not true, you'd tell my father lied, and he didn't lie about nothing.
And at one point, Sergeant York's strict police brought cinematic shooting to a halt.
And we got a little picture of Gary Cooper in there now that he's apologizing to Daddy. When Daddy came home and went back, he called Gary Cooper smoking, so he stopped the movie for 2 weeks.
When the smoke had cleared, the movie was completed and became the highest grossing motion picture of the year. And Gary Cooper won the Oscar for Best Actor. There will be no Oscar winners in the performances here today at Sergeant Alvin C York State Historic Park. But the men and women in uniform are ready to put their passion for history into action.
And we're here to kill Jerry every day, all day. The Yanks have showed up. They're going to win the bloody war for us. And we can go home back to shooting kangaroos and drinking plenty of beer.
Not only is there military movement on the ground, but also in the air.
The aircraft is a replica 7/8 scale Newport 23. It's a French-built airplane painted up in Belgian colors. It was armed with a single 303 Vickers machine gun, synchronized to shoot through the propeller without hitting the blades. And so it was used just in any kind of role that you would have fighter planes used for.
There's a replica of the kind of trench Allied soldiers used in World War I, and a bunker where the enemy prepares for a rushing attack in a skirmish which, of course, the Allies will win.
The further we get along into the future, the less that we have of people who actually have any sort of basis of knowledge about trench warfare in World War I. You know, we're into those 100-year anniversary years of World War I, and there's very few people around, if any, that would remember those stories to relay them. And we wanted to do our part here to help tell not only Sergeant York's story, but stories of other Tennesseans that would have been involved in trench warfare and those things that happened during World War I.
This is not a reenactment. A reenactment means everybody gets killed. But it is something of a reconstitution of the time and the place and the people. And it just gets you a little closer, maybe, to how they lived, what they felt.
These living history demonstrations take place only at certain times each year. But the story of Sergeant York, his home, his heroism, his place in history, can be experienced every day at the state park which bears his name. The Visitor Center is an addition to the old general store owned and operated by York and his wife, Gracie.
It's amazing to me that they still do things and carry his name on, you know, after he's been gone for so many years. And I appreciate that.
It means everything to me. I can't believe it keeps getting bigger every year.
We also offer a short hiking trail that would connect the home site to the church and to the cemetery. So folks can either choose to drive to the cemetery, or if they're able to, they can walk and they can take a little nature hike across the suspension bridge over to the church and cemetery.
At the cemetery stands the final memorial to a man who refused to take money for anything related to the Medal of Honor, a man who served his country and returned home to the valley snuggled next to the Tennessee-Kentucky line, where he married and had 10 children.
He was just dad, you know. We were just in the country like everybody else, no different. Just a good home, good dad and mom, good teaching. We wish now that we would have asked him a lot of questions, you know, but you don't think about it at the time.
A lot of history is wrapped up in our own family stories, and Sergeant York's family has remained connected with his legacy. You can travel to our website, wildsidetv.com, to make your own connection with the park and Sergeant York's history.